And, you know, there's no shortage of stuff that the Trump administration is doing that would be a stop the presses moment in any other administration. It's just that he's doing so many of these things at once that they can get lost in the sauce, right? I mean, Trump just this week has revealed a budget plan that will entirely eliminate the Head Start program everywhere in the country. This would have been a month's worth of headlines in any other administration. I mean, Head Start is preschool, and Trump is going to cut it to zero. Nearly 50% of all Head Start funding in the whole country goes to rural areas in which there often is no other childcare option available for young parents. Head Start is it, and Trump is zeroing out Head Start. Zero. He's eliminating it. This week, Trump has yanked all Americorps volunteers off their projects all across the country. Americorps is like the Peace Corps, but here at home, it sends young people aged 18 to 26 all around the country to do disaster response and conservation projects and education. They do things like building housing for veterans. They just do good works on a voluntary basis in every state in the country. And they do it in exchange for helping pay for college. It is considered to be a 100% successful program. It is broadly popular and non-controversial with both parties. Trump himself supported it and funded it in his first term. But now, inexplicably and without warning, he has ended all AmeriCorps volunteer assignments right now in the middle of this week, pulled all of those people out of what they were doing all over the country, effective immediately, no warning, no explanation. And they are cutting virtually all the staff of the agency that oversees the volunteers and makes sure the program runs. Why is Trump doing that? Do you remember Trump running for office saying he was going to kill AmeriCorps? Get rid of all those kids building housing for veterans. Yeah, and we're going to get rid of preschool, too. Am I right? I mean, do you remember that from his rallies? They were hard to pay attention to. They were long, but I don't remember that. Who's clamoring for this? AmeriCorps volunteers are already suing Trump to stop what he's doing. Now California's governor, Gavin Newsom, says the state of California is going to sue him over this as well. We shall see. But that's, like I said, one among many. Trump has now fired so many people at the National Weather Service that the agency yesterday sent out a blanket notice advising their staff that they're going to need to reduce or suspend weather balloon launches all over the country. Weather balloon launches make weather forecasts accurate. The former administrator of NOAA tells USA Today that that factor and the staff shortages imposed by Trump are already degrading our weather forecasts in this country. Washington Post reports that the number of meteorologists on staff at some local forecast offices is now half their normal staffing or less in multiple locations, and that is permanent and likely to get worse with what else Trump has in store for the National Weather Service and NOAA. Quote, as severe storm season ramps up, it's the offices in places such as Kansas City, Omaha, Louisville, Des Moines, and Grand Rapids that are facing the most significant staffing shortages. And on top of that, to stop people who work in these agencies from letting the press and the public know about what Trump is doing to the Weather Service, to stop people from talking about how their weather forecasts are degrading because of what Trump is doing to the Weather Service, the Washington Post reports that the Trump administration is now, quote, installing monitoring software on NOAA employees' devices to track their communications so they can make sure they're not talking to the public and not talking to the press about the way Trump is decimating the Weather Service. Yesterday, the Trump administration tried to force through a basically total reduction in force at the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. It would have effectively fired the entire staff of the agency. The staff of that agency, I will tell you, is feisty as heck. They got the firing notices yesterday afternoon. They were all supposed to be fired as of 6 o'clock tonight, but they figured out a way to get themselves in front of a federal judge this morning before today's 6 p.m. deadline, and that judge this morning blocked the firings. The judge, quote, told attorneys for the government she was deeply concerned about the apparently rushed efforts to implement a reduction in force of approximately 1,500 employees at the CFPB, which was set to take effect at 6 p.m. tonight. The judge said the move by the Trump administration could be in direct violation of an injunction she had put in place already. That injunction required terminations at the agency to be carried out only after a particularized assessment of individual employees' performance. Judge told attorneys from the Trump administration that this reduction in force thing that they tried to force through today, quote, is not going to happen in the meantime. The judge ordered the Trump administration to advise agency leadership that they need to make that clear to employees who had been informed they would be ousted. In other words, the judge is telling CFPB, not only are you not firing those people today, which you were trying to do, but you are going to tell them that they are not being fired because they all got notices from you saying they're fired as of today. You must notify them that they are not being fired. ABC News reports, quote, many of those employees sat in her courtroom Friday, and several broke into tears following the hearing. The judge in this case has also set a hearing for a week and a half from now, April 28th. She says she wants testimony from at least one Trump administration official and potentially one member of DOGE about what they tried to do here with trying to fire the whole agency. She says she's basically going to get to the bottom of whether they've violated her court order with this attempt to fire these people, which, again, they did not get away with, which she blocked, and which they now have to answer for as potentially having violated a lawful court order. Like I said, those CFPB employees are feisty. Every time there's a court hearing, they are filling the gallery. Every time there is anything going on with their agency, every single thing that they have tried to shiv that agency with, they have not only fought back, but they have shown up in person. And it matters, and it is working, and they are still there hanging on. There is no shortage of fight in no shortage of people for no shortage of things that Trump is doing. But one issue in particular keeps rising to the top. And it's because of the extremism of what Trump is doing specifically to immigrants. And it is just lighting up the country right now. We've been covering this all this week in particular, but it really is every day. In Washtenaw County, Michigan this week, local residents packed into a county commissioners meeting. They filled up the room. They filled up the overflow room. They filled up the hallway outside of both after the Trump administration threatened that county and demanded that that county needed to effectively inform to the Trump administration on local residents and even on county employees, presumably so people could be targeted by Trump's immigration agents. The county is showing no signs of budging on that, and the community is backing them up on it. They packed this hearing. You can see this headline in the local news in MLive here. Quote, residents make emotional pleas to support immigrants as feds demand information. Residents packed a meeting of Washtenaw County Board of Commissioners to express support for the immigrant community. Quote, we do not want you to cave from the pressure you are under. This video, you will remember this video. It is likely seared in your mind already. This was a doctoral student from Tufts University being grabbed off the street by Trump's masked agents, screaming in fear as they grabbed her hands and chained her and put her in an unmarked vehicle. Her name is Rumeysa Ozturk. She was a Fulbright scholar and a PhD student. She's here in this country on a student visa. She has been in an immigration prison in Louisiana since she was grabbed off the street by agents. But today, a federal judge ordered that she must be flown out of Louisiana. She must be flown back to New England, specifically to Vermont, so she can attend a court hearing there in person about her case. A federal judge in Vermont ordered that she must be brought back to New England by May 1st. Her hearing is May 9th.